Hi everyone, we are on day 7 of Tomer Devorah. Just to recap, day 6. It was speaking about when a Kodesh Baruch Hu suppresses our iniquities, and also that if a person does, just for example, if they do 10 mitzvot and 2 averot, that they do not deduct from each other. Rather, Hashem waits for us to do tshuva, and we get the reward for all 10 mitzvot. So very, very beautiful. And also it says that we should be treating others in this same fashion. We should suppress the wrongdoings that they've done to us and remember the good that they have done and always keep that before us whenever we are looking towards each other. And today we're on day 7, and it is, and you will cast into the depths of the sea all their sins. This is an especially good attribute of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. For when Bnei Israel sinned, he delivered them into the hands of Paro, and they repented. If so, why should he punish Paro, or Sanherif, or Haman, and others like them? Yet a Kodesh Baruch Hu is not content with saying they repented, so no further evil will befall them, and thus Haman and Paro and Sanherif will be removed from them. This is not sufficient. Rather, the wickedness of Haman reverts onto his own head, and so too with Paro and Sanherif. The reason for this conduct lies in the essence of the verse pertaining to the temple service on Yom Kippur, where 2 identical goats were brought. One was sacrificed on the altar, and one was sent to Azazel, pushed down a rugged mountain. The goat that was sent to Azazel will carry all their sins to the desolate land, Vayikra 16:22. Meaning that the goat actually bears the punishment for their sins. Now this is very difficult to understand. For Bnei Israel sinned, why should the goat bear their sins? However, the reason for this conduct is as follows. When a person confesses with the intention of, in his confession, to receive a cleansing of his sin, as David HaMelech said, "Cleanse me abundantly of my iniquities," Tehillim 51:4. And so our words in prayer, "Cleanse my sin with your great compassion," he only prays that his afflictions be light so that they will not interrupt his Torah study. As we say in our prayers, but not by way of severe affliction. This is also the intention when one states, "You are righteous with regard to all that befalls me." He actually accepts willingly upon himself afflictions in order that he be vindicated for his sins. For there are sins that can be cleansed only by means of affliction or death. This is the conduct immediately after one confesses in his prayer. A Kodesh Baruch Hu decrees some sort of affliction upon him for his sins. As the Zohar in Parshas Pekudei, page 262b, explains, this is a portion of the Satan as portrayed by the goat that was sent to Azazel. What is actually his portion? A Kodesh Baruch Hu decrees on him, for example, the one who sinned and afterward repented and confessed, affliction, and then instantly Satan comes by there and collects his due. And behold, the goat carries the sins, meaning a Kodesh Baruch Hu gives him permission to collect his due. And through this, the Bnei Israel become cleansed. But eventually everything will revert back to Satan. The reason for this is that a Kodesh Baruch Hu decreed upon his world that all who do this bring suffering upon Bnei Israel should be nullified. That is why God decreed the animal which was involved in human transgression resulted in the man's execution, must be killed. Vayikra 20:15. Similarly, the stones used to carry out the sentence of those condemned to death by stoning and the sword used to carry out the sentence of decapitation must be buried. Sanhedrin 45b. In order to nullify their existence and power after they have been used to carry out the judgment. Behold, this is the essence of the same statute of Nebuchadnezzar when he saw in his dream in Daniel 2:32 through 34, when Bnei Israel were given over into the hand of the Babylonian king, symbolized by a head of gold. The same head was eventually subjugated and given over into the hands of Persia, symbolized by a silver chest and arms, who was in turn expelled by another nation, and so on until Bnei Israel descended into the 4th kingdom of Edom, and Yishayah, symbolized by the legs of iron and clay. And what will be the final good ending? Eventually, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will uplift Bnei Israel and execute justice upon the kingdoms. And as it was written, I will use up my arrows against them. Devarim 32:23, meaning that the arrows will be used up, but Bnei Israel will not be annihilated. Sota 9a. And then the parts of iron, clay, brass, silver, gold will be crushed together. Daniel 2:32. First it is written, and he smote the idol to its legs, the same in Daniel, but in verse 34, implying that there was nothing left of the idol but its legs, for they had lost all their power, symbolized by the way the head, arms, and torso were removed. Nevertheless, in the end, as it is written, together they will be crushed. Also in Daniel in verse 35. For in the future, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will indict Satan and the wicked who carried out his deeds and actions, and he will visit justice upon them. This is the meaning of the verse in Micah 7:19, and you will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea, implying that he will cast the power of judgment to be executed upon those are likened to the depths of the sea. As the verse states in Yishayah 57:20, the wicked are like the spewing sea, for it cannot rest, and its waters spew mud and mire. This refers to those who execute judgment on Bnei Israel, who will return their evil deeds upon their own heads. The reason for this is that after Bnei Israel received their judgment, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu reconsiders even the initial punishment and exacts retribution for the insult and suffering. And furthermore, I was angered only a little, and the nations of the world helped to do more evil than required. Zechariah 1:15. This too is an attribute that man should use in his behavior towards his fellow, even if the latter is wicked and crushed through afflictions. Do not hate him after having been whipped. He is like your brother. In Maccabees 23a. Befriend the rebellious and those who have been punished, and have mercy on them. And on the contrary, save them from their enemies, and do not say, his own sin caused the suffering. Rather, have mercy on them in accordance with this attribute, as I have explained above. This concludes Day 7 of Tomer Devorah.